Did Alex Cooper from Call Her Daddy really try to get KENZIE to paint the black women, the black female islanders, as bullies once again? Hey there, it's Anonymous Tea, where we spill the tea anonymously. Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day today, sending good vibes, sending positivity, sending blessings, and good energy to each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. So, anything I say is alleged and in my very, very personal opinion. This is for entertainment purposes only. None of this is personal. The Copyright Act of 1976 is in the description box. Some meat and potatoes, some housekeeping items. So, today we are talking Love Island USA Season 8 postseason, and there's a lot that I've got to get to. There's a separate video that I'm working on about Bryce's alleged blackmail friend that has several smoke for Anaya, Trinity, and Janae, and they said that they like Alandria, but they are alleging that they've got tea on Nicolas. And apparently went on a Twitter space last night and shared text messages and shared tea that is supposed to be revealed by a big content creator. So we got to get into all of that in a separate video. Apparently Kata has deactivated her Instagram, you guys. She hit 1 million followers on the Instagrammies, and what happened was she had posted a picture, I guess, of her and Zack Attack that said "My Rock," and the fans were not feeling it. The fans were not feeling it. The fans were not featuring it. They did not like that, and allegedly her following was dropped, right? Her followers started to drop. However, she is active on the TikTok doing reposts like what Anaya is doing as well. And Anaya, speaking of, just put out her Villa post, or whatever the case may be, just put it out like an hour or so ago. Already has over 300K likes, has a lot of engagement. Carl put out a post last night, already has a million likes. Brinity had an interview this morning with the Today Show that was really mainly Trinity's doing all the talking, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Bryce is just there as the accessory piece. You know what I'm saying? But I think that's mainly it for all the Villa stuff. There is video of fans that are posting of them, quote unquote, whacking Sincere in person. And he's basically like, oh, it's all love. You know, the people that I lost to, it's fine. I love Brinity. I love Karnaya. I see what you're doing. I see the play, Sincere. You know what I'm saying? So that was happening with that. I'm trying to think if there's really anything else. These Islanders are not clout chasers. This is what happens when you cast regular people. This is so different from season 7, where there were all those live streams where everybody was at an Airbnb. That's not going to be the case this season. It seems like everybody, except for the winners, went home. And I wouldn't be shocked if some of these people don't even do any interviews. You know what I'm saying? Or wait until after the reunion, or wait until they get a team and get their management and get their PR and everything else, so that way they can properly navigate this. Because I think some people are going to surprise you. Like, I think Anaya is about to pay all these people dust. You know what I'm saying? Like, for y'all thinking that she's going to be cussing people out in these interviews, I don't think she's going to. I think she's going to be paying these people dust and all of the things, right? And it seems ever since Kata has deleted her Instagram account, the Zack Attack's followers have increased after Trinity's statement, and he's reposting edits of him and Bryce. No. I cannot believe this is the opportune time for Kata to get brand deals to increase her following on the Instagrammies. This is where a lot of brands will be in the comments. And you're doing all of this over a man because the people don't like him. And I want to say this quickly before I get into the KENZIE of it all. I did not see on the internet where supposedly there is all these hate and all these threats to, you know, Zack Attack. I didn't even know that his TikTok what was banned or whatever. I feel like low-key this is a sympathy arc. This is a sympathy angle that I believe that the Core 4 has organized and mobilized together for. I can argue that there is more hate and more racist stuff being said about Anaya, Casey, and TT than the foolishness that I saw about Zack Attack. I feel like Zack is this season's ace. He is shook that all the scheming, all the manipulation, all the stuff that he did in that villa is not being praised, is not being celebrated. And here's the thing. Production could have exposed him. They did not. You know what I'm saying? On movie night. The family could have exposed Zack Attack. They chose not to. You know what I'm saying? And even Tay tried to give Kata some game. Even Trinity tried to be, the truth about Kata. That Zack Attack low-key is breadcrumbing her. But Kata does not want to hear the truth. So now what has happened is now you come out to the public and see, out of all the couples, people aren't really rocking with y'all. People primarily, they either like Brinity or Karnaya or both. And there's a strong support for Melanie fans. You know what I'm saying? And the sincere of it all is to be determined. But you're coming in and realizing, oh, nobody's fooling with you. And really all you have to lean into is the core 4 stuff. So we'll see what comes with that. But I wanted to get into the KENZIE of it all because I feel like Alex Cooper tried to set up KENZIE on multiple occasions to try to have a Huda moment and try to make it seem as though the black women were bullies and the black women were attacking and isolating Soul and all of this and all of that. And here's the thing, right? So in the interview, I believe KENZIE said that she initially only slept with 4 men, and then she had like a year where she slept with like 3 men. She said in between nursing school, she got her boobs done. Also talked about the fact as well that she doesn't really have a type, just likes tall men with dark features, all this, all of that. Also talked about that she applied to the show while she was in nursing school and left for the villa the day after she graduated from nursing school. Said as well that, she was trying to explain the Melanie and Corbin situation. However, we saw for ourselves what it was. And this is the other thing too with these Islanders. I wish that they would watch the show back before they do some of these interviews, because she's trying to make it seem like Melanie went behind her back and changed her mind, that she wanted to pursue things with Corbin. And that's not the case, right? I think what happened was that when Melanie and Corbin were paired together by America, I think she was still, dealing with the ramifications of her and Sincere's, latest back and forth. And now Sincere is with Soul, and now she is in a couple with Corbin. But the other side of it was, while Melanie still had feelings for Sincere, she also was finding out through the grapevine that KENZIE and Corbin are still having all this correspondence together. It was getting back to Melanie that they were kissing, that they were doing this, they were doing that. But what was interesting was KENZIE says she keeps calling Melanie her best friend. Here's the thing. If you have to keep saying somebody's your best friend, they're not your best friend. She's claiming that basically once Soul got into that villa, that she really didn't have too many conversations with Melanie, and that Melanie and Anaya and Trinity would all pull each other for chats. And it sounded like she was trying to say that production can dictate who you can and who you can't talk to on a given day, which is something I figured out, right? Islanders have said this in the past, that there are certain storylines that they want to push. There's certain conversations they want you to have. There's certain people that they want you to pull for chats, right? No problem there, right? But I also peeped that KENZIE wanted to build her own girl army with Jen and with Soul. It was not because Soul was isolated. It was because you knew you were sneaking around with Corbin behind Melanie's back, and you confided in Jen. You said you didn't trust Soul. You confided in Jen that you were sneaking around, kissing Corbin and all of this and all of that because you like competing with these women in the villa. You liked having to juggle these men, and you did it to your own friend Jen as well. Going behind her back and kissing Gal. You know what I'm saying? So it's just interesting how KENZIE is trying to paint this as though Melanie is the bad guy, but then in the same breath, you want to say that she didn't fully explore. And then you want to say that the best couple is Kata and Zack Attack. And I think the reason that KENZIE is saying that is because Zack Attack did a great job of putting on a show in front of the other Islanders. The issues that the other couples had was that people could see the cracks of what was taking place, right? I think Zack Attack showed his real self to Bryce, but around everyone else, he had this mask on as it pertained to Kata. So that is probably why these Islanders are shocked that, people aren't featuring Zeta as a couple, is because we saw all the manipulation that Zack Attack was doing away from Kata that had a lot of y'all fooled, that had a lot of y'all bamboozled, hoodwinked, and led astray, right? And also, one other thing that KENZIE brought up that I thought was important to talk about was she wanted to talk about Corbin and Casey's comments during Casa Amor, where they got to watch the live stream of the heart rate challenge, right? And this is where the hypocrisy comes in. KENZIE said that the comments that Corbin and Casey made during that heart rate challenge, throw KENZIE out the window, this connection's done, you know what I'm saying, was disrespectful. And she said it was disrespectful because it's disrespectful to me and our connection because I really like Corbin, but it's also disrespectful because my family is watching this show. My family is watching this show, and seeing a man say those things about me is very hurtful and disrespectful. And this is what I've just been trying to say for months about Anaya. This is all I've been trying to say. But there were people, men and women, that would write off Casey and Corbin's comments as locker room talk. Oh, this is just how men talk. Well, not no men I know. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm from a different world. You know what I'm saying? I'm from a different world because I've never heard men talk like that about women. You know what I'm saying? But maybe I only know a certain type of men. You know what I'm saying? But I've never heard men talk like that about women. Just you know what I'm saying? Just on GP. So that was my point with Anaya. And it's crazy to me that people are still trying to send her hate over that. Of her, crashing out, having a meltdown, being upset of how disrespectful and how dismissive Casey is. It's not even just the fact of the comments being hurtful. You know what I'm saying? But you're blindsided that this is what somebody thinks about you when you're not looking, when you're not around. And then playing in your face and gaslighting you in your face and making you appear to be crazy, making you appear to be difficult or insecure or all these things. But the reality was Casey was not being transparent. But when KENZIE says it, y'all ain't got nothing to say. Just like Gal just said in a podcast that TT's aggressive and that Casey's a child and childish. But y'all have no smoke for KENZIE or Gal, and it just tells me there are some of y'all that just have a personal hatred for Anaya. And the other side, apparently people are spreading that Anaya is a bigger villain than Sincere. No. And that she's weaponizing tears. No. Like this is insane. This is insane, you guys. And this is another example of how y'all like to coddle men out here. This might be the worst cast of men in Love Island USA history, and I'm not even exaggerating. See, y'all got caught up in their looks of how good looking these OG men looked, but y'all ignored that they were treating these ladies like crap. They were doing the absolute bare minimum. There was minimal romance this season. And a lot of hot takes that were disrespectful, in particularly towards the black women, and questioning the connections, you know what I'm saying, whether it was black love or interracial love. If they were really attracted to their partners, if they were really attracted to the black women, if they were really interested like that, led by none other than Zack Attack. And the big thing that I wanted to talk about from this interview as well is the soul of it all. So what happened was there was a live stream that Soul did the other day where KENZIE was there, Jaden was there, some other Casa people, men and women, were there out in Los Angeles. And Soul was live streaming, and in the background you could hear, oh yeah, if you were not, it's all about the Melanie show, and if you were not aligned with Melanie, you know, you didn't get any screen time, you were DEAD. And so Soul quickly walks away and is like, oh, I hope nobody heard any of that. And then she tried to get on the internet and lie, and just to lie that we did not hear what we just heard. That we did not hear what we just heard, you boys. And so ultimately, KENZIE confirms that that is in fact what was said, and confirm that if you did not, if you were cool with Melanie, you got screen time, but if you were not cool with Melanie, you did not get screen time. No. So what that sounds like to me is KENZIE pulled a Johnny from season 2 and realized, hey, if I start kissing on these, I'm going to get screen time. If I start kissing on these, I am going to get screen time. I am going to be on the show. And that's it, and that's all. Now, as far as the Soul, Alex Cooper tried so hard to push that the Core 4 was bullying Soul, was isolating Soul. I'm going to have an unpopular opinion on this. I don't believe Soul was isolated or bullied. And if she was, it was led by the men. Let me say that again. I do not believe Soul was isolated or bullied, and if she was, it was led by the men. And here's why I believe that. Because it was apparent to me that Sincere did not want Melanie and Soul talking to each other. Now, I'm sure that they had conversations, but in the scheme of comparing notes about Sincere's lies, it didn't sound like Melanie really had a clue the extent of what Sincere was telling Soul, because she got a rude awakening on movie night. Unless she's a fantastic actress. But it sounded like to me she had no clue of what Sincere was telling to Soul versus what he was telling to Melanie. Plus, how he was trying to tell Melanie it was Soul that was initiating the kisses. He was just an innocent bystander. But the receipts showed otherwise. But KENZIE's trying to make it seem as though, I was just trying to be this friend for Soul because nobody was talking to her. None of this, none of that. No, I feel that was all strategic. That was all strategic. Here's the thing. I feel like Sincere and the men helped in the isolation tactics, because here's the thing. It was the men that all agreed to give Soul the most pies. Even though KENZIE deserves some, even though some of the other female islanders deserve some of those pies, y'all specifically went after Soul. And the only reason you're going to do that is if that is at the direction of Sincere, because I stand on the fact that I think Sincere and Zack Attack, and a little bit of, I would put KC in third place, you know what I'm saying? We're the biggest gamers in that villa. We're the biggest game players in that villa. And Sincere, if you mess with Sincere, if you cussed out Sincere, you were out of that villa. You know what I'm saying? Like look how quick, fast, in a hurry Corbin got about that villa. Look how quick, fast, in a hurry Soul got about that villa. You know what I'm saying? Anybody that came for Sincere, that called him any names or any of the sort, didn't like his couple with Melanie, voted to get Melanie up one out of here, you were out of here. I don't know if y'all peeped. Come for Sincere. You can't stay in this villa. No matter how bad Sincere was doing Melanie wrong, right? So it's interesting to me that both Amora and Soul come out the villa singing Sincere's praises and having smoke for the women. I was of confusion because I'm like, Sincere is the reason that you're in the position that you're in. You know what I'm saying? Sincere did not choose you, Amora, at Casa Amor. It was us, America, that decided to bring you to the villa. But really, you didn't need to be there. You were just there to justify us bringing back Carl. And then, as far as, you know what I'm saying, with the Soul of it all, Casey had an opportunity to keep Soul if he really wanted to pursue her. He didn't. I peeped that they followed each other and have since unfollowed each other. I wonder what happened. You know what I'm saying? I wonder what happened, or if TT is running a tight ship and was like, look at my restraining orders. Do you really want to be trying to be in correspondence with Soul right now? I don't know. I don't know. But I do not believe the isolation was because of Core 4. I don't believe it. Everything that I have seen up until this point with Trinity and Anaya especially, and Melanie, that they have all been sweethearts. They have all been sweethearts, especially since coming out this villa. I am not seeing anything that is showing is mean girls or vindictive girls or girls that are, trying to plot people's demise. I am not seeing any of that. I am not seeing this energy that they're cussing out these girls and making these girls not feel wanted. I think the problem with Soul, the reason that she's feeling isolated, I think she was upset that the men were not pulling her for chats, that the men were not interested. And if they were, they preferred to stay safe in their couples, at least until Casa Amor, like Casey and Corbin. And they didn't want to risk it for the biscuit. They didn't want to risk jumping ship in their OG couples for you, Soul, and potentially be up on out this villa and have their experience in the villa cut in half. Like that's really the game, you know what I'm saying? But y'all can't blame the women for that. That's not the women's fault. That's not the women's fault. You need to be holding the men accountable. And that's what I don't understand. These women that are coming out holding the men accountable is insane. It is insane to me. But that is it for this video. That's all that I got for this video. I just wanted to do a quick little, 1-2 of what's going on with some of these Islanders. And like I said, at some point later, I want to do this other video about Bryce's friend because they just completely lost the plot. But yeah, Alex Cooper really tried to get KENZIE to say that the Core 4 was bullying Soul. And KENZIE really didn't take the bait, and I was glad that she didn't, unlike Hoda, who quickly took the bait to paint Alandria and Shelly as bullies and everything else. It was just disgusting behavior. But I need people to get out of the negative stereotypes about black women, that they're all just aggressive and mean and cussing people out and making people cry and attacking people and not making people feel welcome or comfortable. It's like y'all are so confused if there are black women who are nice to people. It's like y'all don't know what that means. Y'all don't know what it means that a black woman can be friendly, can be cordial, can be respectful, can be professional. Y'all don't know what that is. So y'all plant these stereotypes, and you were trying to push for it, Alex. Huda fell for it last year, but KENZIE, I felt, did a better job. I just agree with a couple of her takes and opinions on some stuff, but I felt overall it is interesting, you know what I'm saying, how there's certain arguments that KENZIE was making. The other thing I disagreed with KENZIE on before I go is basically, and this again was led by Alex Cooper, trying to call the women sexist. I don't agree with that being the correct term of things. I think you got to understand what was happening, right? The women were telling, Dylan to, stay the course with KENZIE. They were not trying to turn Dylan against KENZIE at all. You know what I'm saying? They were trying to tell them to work it out. Y'all are going to be good. They had an issue, rightfully so, with what you were doing with Gal and basically you leading on Caleb, which is what we saw. But it's interesting to me, you're calling the women sexist, but it's the men that were calling you lustful and almost kicked you out of that villa. Now, I don't think production would have let it happen. But it was the men, KENZIE, that was calling you lustful. It's Corbin that is in interviews that is saying that you are the female version of Sincere. There have been none of the female Islanders that have said that about you. So it's crazy to me that you're saying that the women were sexist when they were doing everything that they could to make sure Dylan stayed the course with you after you were running amok in this villa. And the other side, too, You're trying to make it seem, oh, the girls didn't want to explore or do too much because they wanted to stay in their couples. Here's the thing. They didn't bring any bombshells for them. They brought in all the bombshells for you. And production, this is something you need to improve for season 9. If you're going to bring in bombshells, you need to be bringing in bombshells for everybody. You can't just cherry pick 1 or 2 islanders that gets to reap the benefits of a bombshell. You know what I'm saying? You can't just pick a couple people to benefit the bombshells. That's why people like Love Island UK, because bombshells are going to constantly come in no matter what. Every couple of days, you're going to see a bombshell no matter what. You know what I'm saying? To see if they can shake the table so that there is no couple that is too comfortable. But what y'all like to do in the US is y'all don't like to bring in as many bombshells, or by the time that you do, it's too late. People are already locked in their connections and don't want to pivot. So that was a wild take to call the women sexist and everything else. And I peeped Anaya's post that she just did for the first time outside of the villa. And she made sure to include all women in her post with the exception of her couple photos with herself and Carl. And she included KENZIE in multiple photos in her slide deck to send a message that nobody's going to say that I did any type of isolating or any type of mean girl stuff. You know what I'm saying? I peeped it. Anaya's a marketing genius. Y'all are going to be surprised by Anaya. She's going to market this thing in a whole nother direction that is going to completely surprise y'all. But that's enough in this video. You know what I'm saying? I need y'all to do me the biggest favor, and that is to hype the video. Hype the video, please. There's that. That is it. That is all. It's todos es final. Es finito. Is the end of the road. Is the end of the line for this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.